GPT-5 is officially here, and just like clockwork, your feed is about to be overrun with thumbnails screaming, "This changes everything." But let's be real, every new model gets this treatment, so today we're cutting through the noise, because GPT-5 isn't just a version bump. It's smarter, faster, and more capable, and depending on who you ask, it may be the closest thing we've seen to truly general-purpose AI. So what's really different this time? And is it much better than GPT-4? Well, let's get into it. GPT-5 isn't just one model, it's now a whole family. There's GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, GPT-5 Nano, which is API only, and GPT-5 Pro. If you're on the free plan, you'll start off with GPT-5, and once you hit your usage limits, it'll automatically switch you over to GPT-5 Mini. If you're on the Plus plan, you get the exact same models but with much higher usage limits. And if you're on the Pro plan, aka the $200 a month plan, you'll get access to GPT-5, GPT-5 Pro, and GPT-5 Thinking, which pretty much just lets the model think a little bit longer for more complex problems. Now, most people won't need to choose a model manually. ChatGPT automatically routes your prompt to the right version depending on what you're asking and what plan you're on. There's also upgrades all across the board, better memory, and better tool integrations like Gmail and Google Calendar, a new study mode for guided learning, and built-in personalities that adjust how the AI responds to you. Now is the part where most videos throw a stack of benchmark scores at you. AIME, SWE Bench, GPQA, Health Bench, and then they expect you to walk away thinking, wow, this model is really smart. And yes, it is, but unless you work as an AI engineer or spend your weekends reading ARXIV papers, those numbers really don't mean nothing. So instead of diving into benchmarks that you'll probably forget within 5 minutes, we're going to skip them entirely. If you're curious, feel free to search them up yourselves. Let's focus on how ChatGPT-5 actually shows up in people's lives. We're going to meet 3 hypothetical people: a dev, a business owner, and a power user. And through their stories, we're going to see exactly what this model is capable of doing. First up is Sam. Sam is an AI engineer who's built agentic workflows with Crew AI and LangGraph, has played around with OpenAI's tool calling system, and has wasted tons of time fighting with hallucinated code. For Sam, this new thinking mode lets the model reason step by step automatically when tasks get complex, and the new router decides when to go slow or fast depending on the context of the prompt. No more switching models or manually tuning temperature. GPT-5 just gets it. And for the first time, it's actually good at solving real-world issues. GPT-5 ranks #1 on the SWE Bench, the benchmark for solving real GitHub problems. Okay, I lied, but that's the only benchmark that I'll mention. Anyways, it doesn't just generate code that compiles. It understands how systems work, and it makes thoughtful, testable improvements. And when Sam needs front-end help, ChatGPT-5 doesn't just throw together a mess of divs. It understands visual hierarchy, spacing, and even typography. A good example of this was shown in the demo when the team on stage had GPT-5 create this.
I will try to show you that. I will actually try to build something that I would find useful, which is building a web app for my partner to learn how to speak French so that she can better communicate with my family. So here I have a prompt. I will execute it. It asks exactly what I just said. Please build a web app for my partner to learn French. One thing to note is that GPT-5, just like many of our other models, has a lot of diversity in its answers. So what I like doing, especially when you do this type of vibe coding, is to take this message and ask it multiple times to GPT-5, and then you can decide which one you prefer.
Wow.
So I can simply press Run Code. So I'll do that and cross my fingers. Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Voila.
Of course it's not perfect, but compared to the functionality and styling that we saw in the past from AI-generated code, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Now back to Sam. Of course he's not handing over full control to his production code to GPT-5 just yet. He still reviews everything before merging. But I think that the gap between AI helper and AI code developer is shrinking, and fast. Then there's Rob. Rob isn't in tech. He runs a small photography business and mostly uses ChatGPT for things like brainstorming Instagram captions, writing client emails, and asking the occasional weird tax question. GPT-5 shifts what AI feels like to him. It's less robotic and more conversational. With GPT-5, it asks follow-up questions, checks for missing info, and maybe most importantly, it admits when it doesn't know something. Thank you. That alone builds trust. It also remembers context better, so that Rob can have continuous conversation without needing to repeat himself. And when he uploads an image that he is editing, GPT-5 doesn't just describe the scene. It gives real usable feedback, like the lighting looks a bit flat, or try boosting the contrast to draw focus to the subject. That's new. Does it always get it right? No. Sometimes it's a bit too confident or just flat out wrong, but now it's more likely to show its work or ask for clarification. For someone like Rob, that's a huge shift from a chatbot that feels like a novelty to one that fits in his day-to-day. And finally, there's Maya. Maya isn't a developer, but she's deep into productivity tools, automations, and system thinking. She lives inside of Notion, links her workflows with Zapier, and most likely has ChatGPT pinned in her dock. With GPT-5, especially GPT-5 Pro in the thinking mode, it feels like she just got handed the keys to a Formula One car after years of driving a Tesla, which I wouldn't complain about either. It's faster, more accurate, and better at staying in context, even through those long branching conversations. It now has a 400,000 token context window, and it's significantly better at recalling the information within that context window. If you don't know what a context window is, you can kind of think of it like the model's working memory. Pretty much all the information that it can keep in its head at once. And if you don't know what tokens are, you can kind of just look at them like words. So basically, GPT-5 can keep a 400,000 word essay in his head at once and pretty much accurately tell you about everything in it. Well, one time I wrote a 5,000 word essay. That's practically the same. It also now connects directly with Gmail and Google Calendar, which means that Maya doesn't have to manually copy and paste anymore. She can say things like, find a time next week to meet with Sarah, and send her the notes from our last meeting. And GPT-5 can actually follow through. The new writing features feel more collaborative. Instead of just spitting out content, it understands nuance. She can ask it to make the text more confident but still friendly, and it actually gets the tone right. And when Maya wants to study something now, she can turn on study mode, and the model will walk her through a concept step by step, almost like a tireless tutor. In fact, in the demo, they showed how this can be implemented with voice as well. I thought it was really impressive, but see for yourself.
For me, I've been learning Korean recently, and I found that speaking it and understanding it incredibly challenging. But let's see how voice can help. To do that, I will enable this study and learn mode. It's a new mode feature we launched in ChatGPT that guides you step by step towards deeper understanding of a subject. Now we can enter voice. Hey Chat, I'm learning Korean. Could you help me practicing it? Let's pretend I'm ordering at a cafe. Now, what should I say in Korean?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help you practice. So if you're at a cafe and you want to keep it simple, you could start with something like 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요, which means hello, I'd like one Americano, please. And of course, you can adjust it based on what you want to order. Let me know if you want to try out more phrases.
So when it comes to Korean, could you speak that part really slowly? Because I'm a beginner and I want to hear every word clearly.
물론이죠. 그럼 정말 천천히 말해볼게요. 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요. 이렇게 하나씩 또박또박 말해보면 도움이 될 거예요.
Now let's level things up. Could you speak that part really fast? Faster than a Korean would do.
Sure, I'll speed it up as much as I can. So it would sound like this. 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요. Basically, just zipping right to it. Let me know if you need any more speed adjustments.
감사합니다, chat. So that is voice.
천만에요. 언제든지 도와드릴게요.
Thank you.
Is it perfect? No. It sometimes misses details or just makes assumptions, but Maya doesn't need flawless. She needs useful. And with the built-in personalities like cynic, robot, or listener, she can shape how it interacts depending on what she needs that day. Feedback, structure, or just a quiet assistant that won't over-explain everything. So is GPT-5 groundbreaking? Honestly, maybe. It feels like it, but it just came out. Give it some time to breathe. We've seen impressive demos, but like any new AI release, the real verdict comes over time, in the hands of developers, students, creators, and yeah, people like Rob, who are trying to figure out if their camera gear counts as a tax write-off. But one thing's clear, this isn't just a version bump. GPT-5 brings us one step closer to something that actually feels really intelligent. If you found this video helpful, drop it a like and leave a comment with your wildest GPT-5 use case. I can't wait to see those. Anyways, I'm Aldo from Zero to Mastery, and I'll see you in the next video.